Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this episode in our nightly series, Divine Messages, a journey through the Qur'an during this blessed month of Ramadan. Let's dive into tonight's divine message.
هو القرآن والفرقان إليه تنصت الأكوان وفيه تعطر الآذان والقرآن.
One day, three men were traveling when heavy rain forced them to seek shelter in a cave. While they were waiting for the rain to die down, a large boulder came down and blocked off the entrance to the cave. As hard as they tried to move it, it just would not budge. They eventually gave up and resigned themselves to their fate. One of them eventually suggested that they turn to Allah in prayer, beseeching Him with their most sincere good deeds and asking Him to relieve them of the misery they were facing. The first man recalled that one day he had hired a day laborer to do some work on a plot of land, but before he could give him his day's earnings, which would have consisted of a certain amount of crops from that plot of land, the man had left. Not sure what to do and realizing that this was a debt he owed, he decided to invest those crops. So he bought some cattle to graze on those crops, and the number of cattle increased over time. A few years later, this day laborer returned and asked for his day's earnings. The man turned to the large plot of land overflowing with cattle and said, "All of these cattle and the crops on this plot are yours." The day laborer thought he was mocking him and replied, "My earnings for that day were only a few crops." The man responded, "Yes, but I invested them for you over time, and everything I pointed out to you is yours, so go and take it." The day laborer gladly took what was his, having recounted his memory. The man then said, "O Allah, if you know that I did what I did for your sake, then relieve us of our misery." And the boulder moved slightly, but not enough for the men to escape. The second man then recalled that his parents had reached old age, and he was taking care of them. Every evening he would bring them fresh milk from his farm. But one evening he was busy and came a bit too late. They were already sound asleep. Not wanting to disturb them, he decided to stand at their door, waiting for them to wake up so he could offer them the milk. All the while, his family was hungry and thirsty, waiting for their share of the milk. After recounting his story, the man said, "O Allah, if you know that I did this for your sake, then relieve us of our misery." And the boulder moved a bit more, but still not enough for the men to escape. The third man recalled that he had a cousin whom he was in love with, but no matter how hard he tried to seduce her, she refused all his advances. Then one year she fell into financial hardship and asked him for some money. He gladly offered her the money, but on the condition that she submit herself to him. She agreed because she was in need, and gave her the money. He gave her the money. As he was getting ready to commit a grave sin, his cousin reminded him of Allah, and that what he was about to do is prohibited. He immediately turned away from her, even though he found it very difficult to resist her, left her the money she needed, and went on his way. After recounting his story, the man said, "O Allah, if you know that I did this for your sake, then relieve us of our misery." And the boulder moved even more, and the three men were finally able to escape from the cave. Allah teaches us in the Qur'an that good deeds are of great value. He says, "Whoever comes with a good deed will be rewarded tenfold, but whoever comes with a bad deed will be punished for only one. None will be wronged." The Prophet ﷺ informed us that those good deeds are not only valuable in themselves, but they are also valuable in their overall impact. He said the 5 daily prayers, the Friday prayer to the next Friday prayer, and the fasting of Ramadan to the next Ramadan are an expiation of the sins committed in between them, so long as major sins are avoided. So not only will those good deeds be recorded and multiplied in reward, they will also wipe out the minor sins committed. And the mercy and bounty of Allah extends even further. The Prophet ﷺ stated that Allah says, "When it occurs," so just the thought occurs to my servant to do a good deed, but he does not actually do it, I will record it for him as one good deed. But if he acts upon it, I will record it for him as 10 good deeds. And when it occurs to him to do evil, but he does not commit it, I forgive that. But if he commits it, I record only one evil deed. Look at the mercy and the bounty of Allah.
ذكر وموعظة ونور فيه شفاء للصدور.
To further emphasize the value and importance of good deeds, no matter how small they may be, the Prophet ﷺ said, the most beloved actions to Allah are the consistent ones, even if they are small. So a small but consistent good deed is more beloved to Allah than a rarely performed big deed. Our divine message today encourages us to take advantage of every moment we have to engage in acts of righteousness, to value the quality rather than the quantity of the deeds we perform, to focus on the intent of our actions, to be consistent in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
ذكر وموعظة ونور فيه شفاء للصدور.
Today's divine message, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. Surely good deeds wipe away bad deeds.